medications are done in a trial and error form, right? Here, try this. If it doesn't work out, we'll fix it. And maybe there is no way around it. I know there is this whole pharmacogenomics angle, but today most people haven't done any of that. Uh, how do you deal with when you have patients who are on all types of medications? How do you manage that? Because sometimes I think it's overkill.
Yeah, absolutely. So the problem you bring up specifically is called polypharmacy. So there is an actual coined word, although there are in essence 111 definitions of polypharmacy. Any more than 5 medications in one prescription is defined as polypharmacy. Now, polypharmacy is terrible for multiple reasons in the older adult because it increases their falls risk, it increases their frailty, it actually increases their vulnerability to a whole lot of things because of adverse drug reactions, drug interactions. So polypharmacy is what we are is the problem that we're dealing with. Now, there are specific ways in which we can deal with polypharmacy by another technique called deprescribing. So it's an active technique that geriatricians all over the world are following. And deprescribing is something where you have a personalized understanding of the diseases that this person has and how to go about actually stopping the things that they don't need and starting the things that they do need. And maybe we can go into that later, but a stop and start kind of framework was built by the European guidelines. And they actually sat down, like you mentioned, the EBM, they actually sat in a Delphi consensus. So a Delphi consensus is when there are so many things that you don't know what's going on, you actually bring experts from all over and come to some kind of consensus as to what needs to be done. And they have gone through these frameworks. And one of those frameworks is stop and start, where you actually get guidelines to what you should stop and what you should start. Because under-prescribing is another problem as well. But polypharmacy is by far, so they recently did in 2024, they looked at the Indian urban population. And they looked at about 700, 800 patients in an Indian urban older population. And almost 34% of them had polypharmacy. Now, in that, may I just say that the self-medicated population was almost 50%. And 80% of those self-medicated population had no idea that there was anything to worry about this self-medication problem. And India is very unique in this way. Because we have and we can maybe go through this because I can do a whole talk on self-medication. Because India gets the garden walk, the morning walk advisors, the lift advisors, the building advisors. You have your barber, right? Another advisor. You will have just the most bizarre set of people who come and actually give advice, which leads to self-medication. And so that is a significant problem. We'll deal with supplements consequently, because that is another whole situation. But yeah, one of the main issues here is polypharmacy. Polypharmacy is dealt with by sensible deprescribing. Deprescribing is a process that one goes through after looking at individualized. It's a phased process. You can't just take meds and stop them because they're started for a specific reason. And maybe the way to look at it is they were good then, but they may not be as good now for you in the circumstances that you are in now.